Hello, my name is Liene and welcome back to my channel. It's time for July wrap-up. In July, I read 5 books and let's go through them one by one in the order I read them, I finished them. First, I have Blood and Sand by C.W. Wick. This is a gladiator story about a girl who is captured when her kingdom, country, I don't know, can't really remember how to call it, was attacked and almost everyone was killed. She was captured and sold as a slave, and she lives in a house, and she's kind of gifted to a gladiator by the man who owns both of them. And yeah, it is an interesting story because she wants to run away and she is very capable, like fighting wise. She knows how to do it because her people were from the kingdom that were really great warriors. This is kind of first book in a series, but the second book is not out, even though this was published like in 2018, so 4 years ago. Leaves the story on a kind of a cliffhanger. But yeah, it was a really interesting story. I enjoyed the main character. I enjoyed how the relationships developed between her, the gladiators, and the other servants, and other people in general. So it was really interesting. I enjoyed it. But yeah, no really strong like feelings. And I don't really remember that much about it. So yeah. Next, I read a sci-fi book by Latvian author, and it was The Reader by Jana Steinberga. And this is set in the future. I don't know how far in the future. I would like to know that, but it is mentioned that it's after Third World War. There is this big corporation that the main character is employed by. She's working as a reader, and that means she was like technologically enhanced. There was something done to her, and the girls who work as readers, they read all kinds of documents, books, things. They remember them, and then they are plugged in to a system, and all the information they have read is like either transferred to a computer or a person, like a summary kind of thing. But yeah, so, and then something of course happens, and if you think of big corporations that are doing scientific things, that something is not right. And yeah, I enjoyed the story quite a lot. It was easy to read, it was a quick read, but what I missed is knowing like the time when it happened, how far in the future is this happening, and the map, because it is set in Riga, like in the city I live in, and I would like to know like the places that are mentioned. Some things I know where they are, kind of, but there are things that I would like to know how far they are supposed to go and when there are tunnels and things. So I was missing a map, but I really enjoyed it. And for the first book, I think this is the first book by the author, and I'm definitely interested in reading more by her. The next book is When the Doves Disappeared by Sophie Oksanen. This is a historical fiction set in Estonia. There are 2 timelines. There is the 1940s, the Second World War, and then there's 1960s, the Soviet times. And it is about 2 cousins and how different their lives are because of the war, because of the things that are happening, and because of the decisions they decide to make. It is hard to read, and more hard because of the war in Ukraine and some scenes, the war in the city, bombing of a city. It was, yeah, kind of hard to read because something like that is happening now somewhere, not that far from me. But yeah, it is a historical fiction. It is an interesting story, and turns out this is like not a series, more I think they are like companion novels about different characters, but this is not the first one. I didn't know that, but now I know. Next, I finally read Rooms by Lauren Oliver. I've had this book, I don't know for how many years, like 8? I don't know, a lot of years. And it's been on my TBRs multiple times, but I never read it. But now I finally picked it up. It is kind of a ghost story, a haunted house story, because there is this family, their father died, and now they are back in the house they grew up. And yeah, there are like multiple perspectives. The people, the family that has come to kind of clean out the house and see what is there and for the funeral. And then there are ghosts that are living in the house. And I really liked the way the ghosts were. Like how were they connected to the house and how they felt things. So yeah, really interesting. And I liked to learn how they are like connected with the story. This was really interesting. And the last one I read was Flowers for Algernon by Danielle Keyes. I didn't know that it was so old, like published in 1960s for the first time or something I'm around there. So yeah, but this is a diary of a man who is participating in an experiment, medical experiment, and he is asked by the doctors to write a diary. And because of how the things change in the writing, in the thoughts of the person, we know like how it went. And Algernon is a mouse who the experiment worked on, so they decided to try it on humans. So they find a person, in this case Charlie, who has a really low IQ. They do the experiment, and this is kind of a recollection how it goes. But from the beginning, not from like the first page, but quite early on, we find out that Algernon is regressing. So that means that Charlie will too. So it is quite sad and heartbreaking story, but really good. I really enjoyed it. I definitely recommend this one. It was really good. This is it. These were the 5 books I read in July. I actually really enjoyed all of them, though my favorite definitely is Flowers for Algernon. Great book, as I said already. But yeah, that's it. Please let me know what is your favorite read from July, and that's gonna be it for this video. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I see you in the next one. Bye! I don't have a lot of thoughts about it anymore.